What's poppin' YouTube? It's your girl, Eastside Korea. And Puffy, I see. Sorry, that was my dog Puff. Um, this is going to be my fourth video on YouTube. Story time again. I skipped to tattooing last video because I felt like it was a lot of sad shit going on. But I gotta hop back to what I was talking about before. So this like in the same area of time when my stepfather passed away and when my mother had pancreatic cancer. Actually, this was right after my mother had pancreatic cancer. If you watched like my third video, you would know the story about that. But jump into it. The first video or two, I told y'all that my grandma was my baby. Like when she was alive, that was my best friend. We was like this. And the time that she got sick was 9 years ago. It's 2019 right now, so it had to be like in 2008, 2007. I think it was 2008 for sure. And I was in the 7th going to the 8th grade. My grandma, she was that nigga. When I tell you she was that nigga, she didn't take no nonsense. No nonsense type person. But at the same time, she was so genuine and kind-hearted when it came to everybody. That's just how my grandma was. So my grandma actually she passed away from cirrhosis of the liver, and a lot of people associate that disease with people who drink, like people who are alcoholics or known alcoholics. My grandmother, me personally, I ain't never seen her touch a drink a day in her life. Ever since I've been born, I never seen my grandma drink. Parties, everything going on. I ain't never seen my grandma crack no brand beer. And when they told me that, I'm like, what? Because at the time, I was young as hell. And what I used to do, I used to Google and look up everything that could possibly go wrong, all the medications that she would need to take, what she could do to prevent it from, like, I used to look up a whole bunch of stuff. And that's because my mind used to work so much. I used to be like on overtime mode when I was a kid. And it still honestly is. But especially during that time period, because that was my best friend. The whole entire summer of 7th or 8th grade summer, I spent that with my grandma. And my granddad, actually, he was working for Chrysler at the time. And this is when Chrysler did their... Granddad, he was working for one of the big three at the time. And this is when they did the layoffs. Unfortunately, my grandfather did get laid off. But he got a job as a security guard. My granddad shouldn't have been working as a security guard, but he did it, and he's that nigga. My granddad used to jump. I ain't gonna lie. My granddad used to jump. But, so my granddad, he was working grave shift hours. So, someone needed to be with my grandma on a regular basis when it came to her when she during this time period, because this is when she really started getting sick, when she couldn't walk a lot. She hated it, and I hated it too. It made me, I'm trying not to cry, because I remember she used to say that she did not want to be on this earth no more because of how she was breaking down and how her body was doing, because she was so sick. And it was to the point in time where I changed my grandma diapers. I had no problem with it. I didn't think it was nasty or nothing, because that was my grandma. That was my blood, and that was my best friend. And for me to just see her hurt like that, it made me feel better that she's up in heaven and she's not with us no more, because of how much she was suffering when she was sick. Sorry, y'all. But at that time of my life, I was going to a predominant mixed school, and when she passed away, like, shit just hit the fan. My mother was also, she was in the hospital getting over her pancreatic cancer and all of the complications from her surgery. At the same time, my grandma was sick. Well, actually, my mama was at home recovering, and she couldn't take care of my grandma because she was literally just got out the hospital from recovering from what was going on with her. Actually, in my fourth video, I told y'all that my grandma was on the first floor. My mama was on the top floor in the ICU unit, and my grandma was in the cardiology unit. So at this time, this was like a really low point in my life, and I just remember, like, I just wanted to make sure my grandma was straight. Like, that's all that mattered to me, was to just make sure she is good. I remember I used to cook, I used to clean, I used to wash her up. Anything that she asked me to do, I was willing to do it. And that's because, like I said, that was my baby. That was my baby. I remember the day she died, and that's when I was going to the mixed school that I love, that I wish my mama ain't never take me out of. Her and my cousin was in a car. So my mama and my cousin pulled up. I'm gonna call my cousin Dickory. She a girl though. The bitch. I was about to say the bitch. The girl name is Dickory in this story. So my mama Korea and Dickory pulled up to my school, and I seen her in a car. I'm like, she'll never be around. So what's she in the car for today? So I remember getting in the car, going back to our house, and my mama telling me that my grandma did not make it and that she passed away. And reality really didn't kick in with me. It really honestly never kicked in. It's still kind of crazy. And that goes for with Big Dog and my grandma. It's crazy, because those are like people that were in my life that I was blessed to have in my life in order for me to be able to become the person I am. And I will say that, and I will stand firmly behind it. I'm emotional. I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive thug. I'll talk about you, and then when you start talking about me, I'll be ready to fight. And that's how my grandma was. I'm a fitting image, you did, of both of my grandmothers, to be honest. But also what a lot of people didn't know is that those psychological things that is wrong with it, ain't nothing wrong with me, you dig? I'm perfectly normal and fine. I just got a little extra seasoning to me or something. God put a little extra little seasoning to me. But people don't know that depression and bipolar disorder and anxiety and all of that stuff can be passed on from family members. It can be something that is skipped in a generation and is given in a generation. Like it is genetics. And my grandma was also, she was bipolar. She was severely depressed, especially during that time when I was telling you, she was telling me she didn't want to live no more. She didn't have no type of willingness to continue on because of the situation that she was in. And that's one of the things that I felt like killed her. But at the same time, she was strong as hell. That lady was a strong ass woman. And I'm so blessed to be part of her bloodline, you feel me? Well, that's my short little story time today. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to hit the blunt for y'all one time.